Thanks for sticking with us here on the Big Sky Kickoff as we continue to preview the 2025 Big Sky Conference football season. And next up for us is the Cal Poly Mustangs. Joining us now is third-year head coach Paul Wulff. Paul, first of all, thanks so much for being here and joining the show, and just your thoughts on the weekend. And, football is right around the corner.
Yeah, no, it's a great kickoff, obviously. And what we do in the Big Sky Conference is probably one of the top things in the country in terms of how we set up our media days and this event. It's really kind of grown, and it continues to add exposure for our conference and the quality of it.
Coach, you moved up your spring ball by 2 months this offseason to allow your players uninterrupted time in the weight room. What was the philosophy behind that schedule shift?
Yeah, we just had so many players returning. We've been a very young program and young roster, and so knowing that we had enough players that we could go through spring practice and do a lot of things and have a number of guys there to participate. Just felt like the sooner we did that, then getting these young guys back in the weight room to grow and develop. I think that's the biggest thing. The last few years we've probably been the youngest team on the field every Saturday. And so we had some deficiencies in just maturity and growth and those types of things, and getting them in a position to add the muscle and strength that we need has been vital, and it's shown up so far. It looks really promising at this point, and we're excited about it.
Your tenure here at Cal Poly, obviously, you're kind of still setting the standard and things of that nature. Now that you enter year 3, just what's kind of stood out for you? How do you feel like the program is kind of trending? A couple close losses last year. Maybe it's a little bit of a different story. Just how you feel things are going overall here as you guys continue to go with your staff.
Yeah, this is the first time we've got depth across the board at all the positions. So that's really exciting, and we've got some maturity, and we were able to bring in some transfers mid-year and in the summer that's going to help fill that age gap a little bit. And just give us the size and maturity that we need. And in this conference, if you don't have that, it's going to be a hard season for you. So I feel like we've closed the gap in all those areas. We've got a good nucleus right now. These guys are learning to really work hard. We're going to continue to grow through this season. I'm excited to watch that. But I think Cal Poly football's clearly on the rise, and you add the Madden Center and all our growth there. Great things are in the future. I know that.
Mentioned the Madden Center that's scheduled to open in early 2026, right after the season. What are some of the features of that new football facility?
Yeah, it's a football-only facility, and the thing that you have there is everything. We're going to have obviously a players' lounge and all the coaching offices and meeting rooms and therapy pools and a big weight room. Everything's going to be there other than their classroom, and that's going to be pretty important for us and for anybody in regards to developing themselves. And so it's going to help us because we just have not been in that position at Cal Poly. The facilities have never been in we've never had something like this. And so it's going to help the future Cal Poly for years.
We just took a look at it, but we'll bring it back up, your schedule, as you look ahead to kind of the Big Sky Conference season here. It's interesting with that non-conference schedule. You got the big game at Utah, and then obviously Stephen F. Austin, and then, of course, the Big Sky Conference slate. What kind of stands out when you look at the schedule and some of the big games coming up for you guys?
Yeah, it's a lot of quality opponents, all the way through. And 7 road games can be a challenge, but it's also fun, to be able to go on the road. And we do. You start off San Diego, and then we've got the Utah, Western Oregon at home to start off the season for our first home game, and then Stephen F. Austin, who I think is a top 25 team right now and projected to do very well. So that's a tough FCS program on the road. And then we're obviously at Sac State. So you look at that, and 4 out of the first 5 games are on the road. We're going to need to really be prepared to handle that, and we got to show some maturity early to handle that.
Talking about those road games, Coach, when you look at this schedule, which away stadium are you most looking forward to playing to or town visiting?
Yeah, I think the Utah game will be something that will be a great experience for our players. And I look at things in situations like that where, we're obviously have to go on the road and we get into Big Sky play at Montana and play at those schools like that we're going to have some experience heading into those games, these conference games that are going to be challenging on the road. Northern Arizona's challenging on the road. Pocatello's challenging on the road. So those are games that we have to play in conference. And I think you go to a place like Utah with the crowd and the noise and managing that, it's just going to help us as we get into those conference games down the road.
Well, appreciate it, Coach. Thanks so much. We're looking forward to seeing how the season goes for you guys.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Coming up after the break, we'll catch up with Cal Poly's players here at the Big Sky Kickoff.